Hello, my name is Scott James Magner and I'll be your author this evening. I hope you're all having a great time at our Murder of Authors Halloween Facebook party and have been enjoying the many recordings, readings, question and answer sessions, and all the other various things that my fellow authors have been doing. I have a bit of confession to make. I'm actually reading this the night before our Halloween party because I wanted to make sure you got my full undivided attention for the next 20 minutes or so, just making sure that I give you the best author experience I possibly can. Fair warning, this is not my first glass of wine this evening, nor will it be my last. I hope that the rest of you are enjoying whatever libations or comfort foods make horror go down a little easier. Tonight I'll be reading to you from my book, Seasons of Truth. It's a book about the 13th century. It's a book about superheroes, monsters, demons, angels, whatever you want to call them. People who are just a little bit special in a time when being special is not the best. Now, if you look around me, in my poorly lit home office, you see a bunch of books and various things that don't seem a lot like the 13th century. Luckily, my brand new tablet that I'm recording this on has a special mood lighting setting that I'm about to activate. So sit back, grab your own beverage, and let's enjoy the show. Here it comes. Josiah sat between the candles, an island of reality in an unreal place. Their flames combined to surround his hands in golden light, a reddish-orange outline from the right, a bright white glow from the left. The chair was uncomfortable, but comfort was the least of Josiah's problems right now. The rhythm of his breathing, punctuated by his pounding heart, betrayed his fear to the accusing darkness. The heat of the candles was not nearly enough to explain the sweat running down his face, and Josiah wished he were somewhere, anywhere else. Why am I here, he thought. They didn't tell me it would be like this. His tongue moved, breaking the lines of his dry mouth. How long had it been? An hour? 2? Despite his aching back and legs, the candles seemed not to have burned at all. Josiah wanted to measure them and know for sure, but to do so would require moving his gaze from the cup at the edge of the light, and the hand that held it. The rumors had started as soon as the Sword of Rome arrived in the city. At first he had dismissed them as idle talk. The man across the table from him was not 10 feet tall, nor did he have knives for hands. He was not bathed in blood. Or is he? Are you ready, Father? The hungry darkness swallowed up Josiah's words, and the response he received made him even more uncomfortable than the chair. Yes, Constable. Bring them now. You will stand silent, witness, reflect on what you learn. The voice was made of gravel, each word clawing its way across the table and sending his heart racing even faster. The hard man across from him hadn't spoken since growling instructions to remove the torches and brazier that would normally light the room. When Josiah returned from that errand, the impossible candles were already burning. He didn't remember why he brought the jug of wine, or what had become of it. He could smell it in the air, thin, watery, and bitter, but where was it? The cup had not moved since Josiah had sat down, nor had the hand holding it. By now it must be soured in this heat. If only he would raise the cup and soften his rough throat. If only I'd thought to bring my own goblet, or perhaps some bread. It shall be as you say, Father. Each word Josiah spoke cemented him in this reality. Each heartbeat pushed him back further into his chair, making the world outside the candle's light seem far away. He thought of fresh wine, full of rich notes and body, of the moon and stars and cool summer breezes, anything but the cup. And the voice. Of course, there is no other way. You will see things, hear things. You will learn. Yes, Father. Josiah hoped whatever lessons the priest meant for him would be over quickly. Each minute he spent here was an ordeal, one he could escape only by Constable. The sweat on his face and neck was suddenly ice cold. Yes, Father? Your first lesson. Addressing men of faith. There is one, Father. We all serve at his will. The unseen chair shifted, and from darkness emerged a face as angry as the words. The cup was forgotten, replaced by a cold, dead stare, framed by a twisting white scar. Light from the candles clung to the sharp edges of an otherwise clean-shaven jaw, pulling shadows high onto his forehead. Josiah felt something scraping across his soul as the priest spoke. All he could see were the man's hard eyes, even as his ears registered the sound of unfamiliar words. Each one stabbed deep into his mind, and the more he tried to understand them, the more they slipped away like sand in a glass. When the words finally stopped, Josiah was sitting in his chair with tears streaming down his face. The candles were as unchanged as ever, but the cup had moved and was unattended on the table. "Bring in the first one. You have more to learn. Bring more wine when you return." The words were hardly louder than a whisper, but from the deep blackness on the other side of the table they sounded like an avalanche. "Yes, brother." "More wine." The words echoed in his mind as he stole another glance at the empty cup. It was a simple thing, hardened wood turned on a lathe and lined with some dark coating. It drew him in, welcomed him, as if there were enough room to crawl inside and never be frightened again. "More wine!" The knees of Josiah's feet triumphed over those of his soul. He stood, careful not to jostle the table and upset the priest further. "If I am to be witness to an inquisition, I should take care not to become the object of one. The girl first, I think. Her account is incomplete, but more reliable. She is the best source for the answers he seeks." Chapter 2. "It was dark. I didn't see much, but I saw that monk. I ain't never forgetting that. He was dressed like you. He even looked like you, a little. Our part of Paris, we don't get lots of traffic from university folk." I just screwed up. I'm getting back to it. "He was always coming by, walking and looking at things, moving like he belonged there, but just didn't fit right. Like he wasn't part of things, but almost was." "No, I don't know his name. He never stopped to talk with anyone, all the weeks he was here. Always looking so sad. That ain't normal for folks like you, right?" "Oh, I didn't know that. But it was more than just sad that evening. It was dreamy, sort of, like he was listening to something none of us could hear. We was all closing down our stalls. It was a good day. Lots of students wanting flowers for the festival. I had some coins. Too many, I guess. And someone noticed. A man grabbed my arm, took my bag of coins. Another one put his hand over my mouth. It smelled like bad fish. How did I feel? Worried. Scared. I know what happens to women ain't got no protectors. All I could think is maybe they'll go quick. Maybe no child comes from it. Maybe they won't kill me after." "How many?" "I think there were 3, maybe 4 men. I couldn't see so clear. They dragged me into the shadows. Maybe I saw one of them. Yes. He was dark, like his skin was burned. How did you know?" "Everything was frozen in place, like one of them paintings hung on a wall in some fancy room. I felt cold. Maybe I was frozen too. The other star holders was just standing still. There weren't really nothing they could do, so I ain't angry or nothing." "Thank you. That means a lot to me. You're a kind man." And that's when I saw him. None of us was moving, just him and the men. He was moving fast like a horse, ring around the corner kind of blurry like. The hands let go and I fell on the ground. I couldn't move or turn my head, but I could still hear things. They were shouting, lots of it. I didn't understand the words. I think he got one of their knives, then drove the others away. I never knew you men of God was strong like that." No, I don't think he was hurt. I never heard his voice before, so I guess he could have been one of them yelling behind me. I just don't think he was. If someone was getting hurt, they deserved it more than he did. Does that make me a bad person? That I'm glad he was hurting them? Punishing them for what they did or was going to do? Oh, yes, you're right. It's all right to be happy. Thank you for saying that. No, I ain't thirsty at all. It's not so bad talking to you like this. I feel better than I have since, well, you know. The fight. Yes, that's it. Like I said, I really didn't see all that much. The light was fading. Just like I was hoping for, it was over quick. After they was gone, after it ended, things was moving again. I felt something wet on my neck. When I could move my arm, I touched it and felt the blood. It wasn't my blood, but I saw one of them on the ground with lots of blood around him. Your friend put my coins back in the bag and tucked it inside my dress. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you knew him. You are a lot alike. He lifted me up and laid me back against the cart. His hands was kind, gentle like my mother's, when I was a little girl, helping me when I fell. Yes, it was exactly like that. He touched my arm here and here. He put his head on my chest and then placed a hand on my head. I think he weren't hurt at all himself. There was some blood on him too, but he was moving fine. Not as fast as before, but in better shape than the other one. When the others came crowding around me, he just slipped away. Except for me and the blood and the man on the ground, it was like nothing ever happened. No, I didn't see where he went, but if you find him, you thank him for me. I owe him my life, and more. That's it, I think. That's all that happened. I hope I helped you. I like talking with you. Yes, thank you. You go with God, too.
What have you learned?
The hard voice from the darkness caught Josiah by surprise as he closed the door, but he at least knew how to answer the priest's question. Josiah had given the priest quite a bit of attention and the woman as she spoke. The light of the candles framed her face, revealing sores on her cheeks and brow, and dark discolorations on her neck that were most likely healing bruises. Just hours after the attack, she had been frightened and near tears. Her story had been hard to understand, and there had definitely been something odd about it. Several days later, her second account was detached, describing the events almost as if they had happened to someone else. Her chief concern had been for the identity and location of her rescuer, the man who now...
What have you learned? Collect your thoughts. Quickly. Impressions. Meaning. These fade with time. Speak your mind while you can.
The darkness was intent on an answer, and Josiah gave it. Things are not always what they seem. This third version of her story is different from the other two. She said she could remember nothing, but when you asked the questions, she did. More and more as you went on. How?
You do not question. You stand as witness. She heard what she needed to hear. What else?
Josiah was sitting now, with no memory of how he came to be across from the scarred man. Somehow he had walked to the table, pulled out the chair, and filled the cup in front of him. I'm so tired, as if I've been standing for 100 years. A cool drink of wine will...
Constable! What else?
A chill passed through Josiah's body, replacing the impossible heat on his skin with ice in his heart. The cup was forgotten. The voice was all. The things she describes, the light, not being able to move, the speed of the attack. These are things she did not tell me before, but when you asked, when she answered your questions, I knew the words were true. I do not know how that can be possible, but it is. Josiah's racing heart slowed as he spoke, as if voicing his thoughts were the most important thing he could be doing. In this newfound calm, he noticed an odd smell, a scent of flowers that must have come with the girl and lingered in her absence. How long did she sit here? to leave behind that part of herself. How long have I sat here without noticing it? As the silence deepened, Josiah felt other questions bubbling up inside him. How had the priest known exactly what to ask, or even what the right questions were? No witness had ever spoken to Josiah with such honesty and certainty, yet the scarred priest drew information out of the girl as easily as... The candles still refused to move as they burned. Josiah no longer feared them, though sweat still trailed down his face to gather at his collar. His mouth was dry and pasty. If there was water to be had, or better yet wine, he would surely feel better. He would...
Bring the next witness, Constable. Little time remains for us. Much to learn, much to accomplish. Go, now. Bring more wine.
The candlelight flickered, and to Josiah the unexpected change seemed every bit as violent as the crime they investigated. No wind had stirred the flames. That was me. No wind had stirred the flames, and the room's other occupant was too far from the candles for his breath to move them. And outside the island of light there was only darkness, untouched by the sweltering heat. It was as if the warmth and light outside the chamber's door was forbidden to enter that space. His space.
Do not tarry, and do not forget the wine.
Josiah found his feet, and in the act of standing his spirit soared. Each step he took towards the door brought him closer to the world of light on the other side. His hand closed on the handles of a wooden bar he did not remember securing, but he paused before opening it, his churning thoughts at war with his desire to turn and look at the priest. When he did look back, all he saw was the cup, now dry and empty like his mouth. Josiah didn't know how long he stared at the cup, but fearing another breathy rebuke, he fumbled with the bar and slipped outside to fetch the next witness. So my time's just about up. I hope you've enjoyed the first few chapters of Seasons of Truth Summer. It's a serial novel that I'm putting out, or rather a novel in 4 parts. This is the 3rd part. It's available on Amazon.com right now, as well as other online venues. You can also learn more about Seasons of Truth, myself, and all my writing at my website, www.scottjamesmagner.com. I have a Facebook page, a Goodreads author page, and in general, I love to hear from people. So please, think of some questions to ask me. Definitely buy my books and read them. And I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much.